Hello everyone, welcome to a new reading. Today we are doing a very special reading. To celebrate, the Revelvet is having a comeback. My sister asked me, as a Revelove, she asked me if I could do a reading to talk about the thoughts that each member has on SM. Since it has been 10 years that they have been with SM, this is usually the 10-year, if you're an SM stan, or if you follow SM groups, you know that the 10-year anniversary is usually when we start seeing people leaving or not by their own volition, right? Usually people talk about the 7-year curse, but when it comes to SM, usually 7 years is kind of like when SM is like, do we want to work with you or not? But when it comes to the 10 years, that's when the contract is fully completed, and that's when people can be like, okay, I'm out. Forget you, SM, I'm gone. So instead of talking about like who renewed and who didn't renew, or at least my sister preferred to just hear what the girls' ideas and thoughts on SM were, especially with how SM is doing right now. So in the description below, I will have timestamps so that you can jump between members and just hear whoever you're interested in. And if not, you can hear for the full group. I will go in each order as usual. So I will start with Irene. And if not, feel free to jump to whoever you want to listen to. So, first person, Irene. So, what are Irene's thoughts on SM right now? Abundance. Well, if we were curious if she resigned with SM, there's a high chance that she might. With the abundance, it feels like she sees a lot of... I'm curious what's on the bottom. Abundance and hunger. So, it feels like Irene's thoughts on SM is that there's still a lot of things that she can do within the company. There's still a lot of juice that she can get out of this opportunity. There is this, with abundance, it could talk about a lot of projects, an abundance of opportunities, an abundance of money, an abundance of potential here. And with hunger, it makes me think of someone that feels like there's more that can be done. Someone that is like, hunger makes me think of someone that desires something and wants something, or they need something. So it could be talking about the lack of something as much as it could be talking about someone that feels like this ambition to get more. So it feels like Irene's thoughts on SM is that SM is still a very good option, very viable, and it's still a place where she still wants to continue working because it will bring a lot of opportunities for her. So it seems like Irene... I don't know what Irene thinks about SM, but at least she feels that it's work-wise, it is a very convenient place to be in. So let's see. What are Irene's thoughts of SM right now? So we have the 4 of Cups and the 5 of Cups. So with the 4 of Cups, it kind of shows that Irene feels a bit bored. She may feel a bit distracted. Maybe things are kind of stagnant, or maybe she feels like things are like the same thing. Like everything's very comfortable. Everything has stayed very stable. Like everything has plateaued. Plateaued? Is that the word? Like everything is just the same old. Also with the 5 of Cups, it kind of shows that she may think that things are kind of not the best at SM, but it could be worse. I do feel that it's bad enough that she can see the problem, she can see the conflict, but it's still not bad enough that she wants to walk away. The 4 of Cups tells me that she could be a bit bored, or maybe she feels a bit distracted because, if she's distracted, it's because there has been some conflicts in SM, but it's not enough to kind of dissuade her from working within SM. I think there might still be people within SM that she wants to continue working with, and by this I mean like staff related, maybe people that we don't see as the fans and as the general public, but there's whoever Irene works with, it could be a manager, it could be someone within SM that she feels comfortable working with still, and because of that, even if things are still are a bit of a mess within SM, she's still pretty comfortable. I do feel that maybe she could be a bit distracted in the sense of there's problems here and there, so that could be a bit overwhelming. But again, it's not enough to kind of turn her off from working with SM. So I do feel that there's a chance that she has renewed. I don't know. I said I was not gonna. I don't like to talk about renewals because I know that it's quite a sensitive topic for people. I do know that it's kind of like a bag of mixed feelings, right? Some people are like, I want my group to stay together, but at the same time, many of them are like, but the mistreatment that they get within this company, do I really want them to stay there? And then it's kind of hard for a whole group to like walk away from a company and still stay together, especially when many of them want to start doing their own thing. It makes sense. It's challenging. It's tough. It's hard. It's like what is the best for an individual does not match with what we want them to do. Right? So I do feel that it is kind of tough to, as fans, it is difficult to figure out if what we want out of the idols that we admire or that we like, if what we want to see from them matches with what they want to do for themselves. And sometimes when it doesn't match, you kind of go like, oof, I want to hear more music from them. But if they're not interested in music, then what do we prioritize, right? I don't know. I'm ranting at this point. But yeah. So, Irene, what are your thoughts of SM right now? What are Irene's thoughts on SM? We have the Nine of Swords. She's a bit stressed with the company. Okay, why is Irene stressed with the company? So we have Temperance and we have the Six of Swords reversed. The reason why she's stressed with SM is because there is a way for there to be balanced understanding of situations, of people. With Temperance, we talk about balance and harmony, and it usually talks about someone that is between two worlds. And this makes me think that one of the things that stresses Irene is that there's a lot of conflicts within the company, but a lot of those conflicts are unnecessary, at least to her eyes. It's like, if a lot of, how should I put it? It feels like there's a lot of petty fights within SM that Irene wishes SM would just get it together. So again, this could also be that Aries energy that Irene has. Aries is very good at, some people could claim that Aries is very simple-minded. Does not mean that Aries is not able to think of complex ideas. It's just that Aries is very assertive and very decisive. So they go like, this is how I see things, this is how I think about things. Why worry about making things complicated? There's no reason to make things hard on ourselves. And because of that, some people claim that Aries is very simple-minded. But Irene, being an Aries sun, makes sense that she will get stressed with the fact that if there's a fight, that people constantly bring it up or constantly argue about it. She's probably the type of person that thinks like, okay, if you don't like this problem, then walk away from it. Why continue dealing with it? Why continue fighting? Why continue arguing? So that's something that really stresses Irene when it comes to SM. But I do feel, again, it's not enough to turn her off. It's just enough to distract her. Like if there's ever a conflict in the company, she does feel a bit distracted by those issues. Again, it could be because those conflicts, like when the higher ups are fighting each other, it does trickle down to affect everyone below them. So I think that's why there's distractions here. As the leader of her group, so as the leader of Red Velvet, if there's ever an issue within the company, it does affect the group, and I do feel that she does get to hear about it. So yeah, with the Temperance card, it also talks about patience. So I do feel that Irene, one of the things that stresses her out is that she has to be patient. When there's conflict, so when the higher ups are fighting, she's down here waiting for them to get their shit together before she can start asking for maybe a job opportunity or to even discuss for future plans. And I do feel that that's something that really frustrates her. It's like, if there's something that stresses you out, walk away from the situation. Why are you even dealing with it? And I think that's why it's kind of difficult for her to wrap her head around a company that's having issues constantly. So that's something that Irene can't really wrap her head around. It's like, why are they constantly fighting? Why are they constantly arguing? Why can't they just get it together? Because when the company is in conflict, maybe internal or external conflicts, it really slows down her ability to work. And just because Irene is very patient, if not, I think this will be very frustrating for her. Well, a lot more than what it is already. Let's see, any additional thoughts that Irene may have on SM? We have Strength reversed. Yeah, it almost makes me think that Irene feels like the best way to deal with SM is by using brute force. No, I'm not saying that she's hitting people as much as I'm saying that she feels like she needs to have a very aggressive and proactive attitude or personality if she wants to get anything done within SM. It's like if she's just patiently waiting for things to work out, it doesn't work out. It's better for her to have a very active and persistent role of like, I want to get these things done. I want to accomplish these things. I want to be part of this project. Like she feels like she has to constantly fight for them. She feels like she has to constantly work towards them, and that it's not really beneficial for her to just sit back and wait for things to like cool down within the company. I do feel there have been a lot of issues within the company that have pushed her to notice or realize that things are not really going to get better and things are not really going to come down. So she might as well just push for her own agenda, push for her own projects, and look after herself. Because the strength card usually talks about having strength, but from a charming point of view, someone that is using their charms to calm a beast. So instead of like encountering a conflict and just like using violence to appease the situation, it's more like having a diplomatic approach, being very charming and solving the issues in a peaceful, calming way. So with the strength card being reversed, it makes me think that Irene's thoughts of SM is that if you want to get anything done within the company, you need to have an aggressive approach. You need to be super persistent, super determined, and very proactive. So I do feel that this bored energy that we saw earlier and this patience with this temperance card makes me think that Irene learned that if she stays in that energy, nothing gets done in SM. So, yeah. She has learned that if she wants to get the ball rolling, get things moving, she needs to take the initial step and push constantly. If she wants to stay in SM, that is how things are going to be looking for her from now on. But I was actually going to ask for the hunger card if the cards could clarify what the hunger card was all about. Perfect. So we have the Eight of Pentacles and the Sun reversed. I will mention that I think the Sun was at the bottom of the deck when this first cards came out. Anyway, so the hunger just tells me that Irene just wants to work. She wants to be in projects. She wants to be on stage. She wants to get things done. Because the Eight of Pentacles talks about a very hardworking person. It could be describing a workaholic, or it could be describing someone that is paying a lot of details and attention to a project, or someone that's mastering a skill, mastering their craft. So it makes me think that Irene wants to continue working. She wants to be in projects. She wants to be, busy just working under SM, and her hunger is just describing someone that is like, okay, give me work, give me something to do. And the Sun reverse makes me think of someone that, because the Sun card is pretty positive even if it's reversed, it talks about someone that is being positive, someone that is working on their inner child, maybe even someone that is under the spotlight, someone that is very optimistic as well, and someone that is just having fun and enjoying their time. So this makes me think that Irene enjoys her work. She enjoys being on stage. She enjoys being, being in projects, being part of, she enjoys her job basically. And because of that, I do feel that the hunger that she feels is like this gap, this like hole within her of like, I'm here to work. Why is there no work? Right? Which, I think that's why the strength card was here. This whole idea of like, she feels that she has to work very hard to get projects. And even though SM is a place where she can find a lot of opportunities for that, she is aware now, at least, that she will have to push very hard for SM to bring those opportunities to her. Also, I want to point out that strength is Leo energy, and the Sun, represents the Sun, which is also the ruler of Leo. So there's this sense of like being under the spotlight, being acknowledged, being recognized even. Because the Sun makes me think of everything that we are aware of, or everything that we can see. It's an energy that can nourish and grow. Also, Temperance is Sagittarius energy, so there's a lot of fire in Irene's reading, which makes me think that she is someone that likes to take action. She's someone that likes to, like, the best way that she feels productive is by actively doing something. So I do feel like it could be a bit frustrating for her when things slow down within the company. And usually the biggest thing that slows down the company is conflict. But to Irene's eyes, this conflict is usually petty and unnecessary. So that is frustrating for her. And she noticed that her patience doesn't allow, like, before she thought, if I'm patient, things will eventually calm down and projects will start raining in again. But she realized that that's not an effective um, way of doing things in SM. So she's having a bit more of an aggressive, proactive approach that will allow more projects to come towards her way. And I think that's the type of inspiration and motivation she needs to calm the hunger within her, because I do feel that she could either be very ambitious or she just likes to stay busy. And that's why it feels like her thoughts on SM is, yes, the company is not perfect. Yes, she will have to work even harder to catch these projects and be part of these projects. But SM is a good place that can bring a lot of opportunities for her. So it's just a matter of her figuring out the best way to hunt down these projects. That's the best way I can describe this energy. But let's go on to the next person, which is Seulgi. So let's figure out what are Seulgi's thoughts about SM. So what does Seulgi think about SM? Okay, so we have balance, hunger, and pain. So with the hunger, we already saw that with Irene, the whole idea of someone that is super ambitious and it's like, I want more. There's this lacking energy coming through. Now with the balance and pain, it makes me think that Seulgi's thoughts of SM is that things are out of balance. Even though balance seems like a very positive card, seeing it combined with hunger and pain tells me that Seulgi has worked very hard to maintain her balance. She has worked very hard to be impartial or to not have like a super negative or super positive outlook in the company, and has tried to maintain like this neutral stance constantly. However, with the hunger and pain, it makes me think that she's actually very dissatisfied with the company. However, I do feel that seeing how Seulgi got her own channel, there is a chance that Seulgi may have resigned with SM. I think there were rumors that she did, but I'm not 100% sure if those rumors are true or not. Only with time we will know for sure. But with this pain card, it makes me think that it has been such a pain to deal with SM in Seulgi's eyes, because there has been like this ups and downs. But the up and downs that Seulgi has experienced with SM have been extreme. So either things work very well with a company or things definitely don't work out with the company. I don't think Seulgi has had outright fights or disagreements with SM, but the biggest, you know how sometimes there's very high highs and very low lows? The high highs that Seulgi experienced with SM is when things work out. There's a job, there's projects, there's comebacks, there's work. But when things don't work out with SM and things hit a very low point, which is constant, is when there's no projects that come through. So, and I'm saying that because of the hunger card. So this balance tells me that Seulgi is actively trying to keep a neutral stance and a neutral outlook with SM. And by that, it's like she's trying not to have a positive, like blind herself and be like, this is the best company ever. But also she's trying not to be swayed when things don't work out and be like, this is the worst company ever. She knows that she could have it worse and she knows that she could have it better. But it feels like she's trying to keep a very neutral stance, so like that she can have a very clear mind of not only the situation that she's in, but being able to think of a very practical and effective method or way to solve her, I was going to say solve her stagnation. So this makes me think that maybe she feels like when there's no projects or when there's no work coming in, instead of feeling stressed, she tries to stay neutral so that she can think of a solution with a cool head, with a cool mind. But yeah, the pain here is that either things work very well with SM or or nothing happens, so that can be frustrating for her. The hunger card, we saw it earlier with Irene, and that was describing someone that is very ambitious or just someone that feels like they're lacking, in this case, a project or work. And with Seulgi is something similar. And seeing how this, you know what this also looks like? It looks like a traffic light. We have a green light, a yellow light, and a red light. So my sister pointed out some time ago, it's a couple years actually, that I think if you combine a song, not combine, but like SNSD, FX, and Red Velvet, they all had like one song that if you put one after the other, it would have been like red light, green light, and a yellow light. It's just I don't know which group had the yellow light song and who had the green light song. I just know for sure that FX had the red light song because their title track was red light. Anyway, I don't know why I'm bringing that up, but for Seulgi, it kind of feels like she has this method where like her patience gets tested with SM. It's like she's doing okay, but then when she's not doing okay is when there's no work coming in. And then if this energy continues, then that's when she feels frustrated. And the pain comes in of like anger almost. Like, okay, my energy or my spirit is low because I'm not getting what I came here to do. So I do feel that it's almost like things build up. It's like there's stages. There's signs here of like, so she's okay when work comes in, but when there's no work, then she starts getting a bit antsy, a little bit nervous, like where are the projects at? And then the pain comes in is when she's already like at her tipping point of like, I'm losing my patience. Where is the work? Where is the job? I think Seulgi is a workaholic, so maybe it frustrates her a lot when there's no work coming in. But what are Seulgi's thoughts of SM? We have the King of Pentacles reversed. Yes. Actually, I'll put it here. Seulgi is extremely ambitious. She is hungry to work. She wants to be on projects. She wants to take out music. Or if there's other stuff that is not related to music, she wants to be part of it as well. So this hunger card shows why this King of Pentacles is reversed. It's like Seulgi doesn't feel like she has a stable job. Okay, let me clarify what I mean by a stable job. I feel that there's stable income, so she's comfortably living okay. Like, her survival is not in danger, but she's an extremely ambitious person, so it really frustrates her when there's no work. It really angers her when no projects are coming through. And especially because if she's a workaholic, then she's like, I need to be doing something productive, and I can't do something productive if SM is not offering any jobs or is not even looking for opportunities. It's like, you're supposed to manage my work. Where's the work at? Right? So I do feel that it really frustrates Seulgi, and she doesn't feel like she's at the top form, top shape with this King of Pentacles reversed, because it's kind of like she feels like she could be at the top of her field, but she can't if SM doesn't bring in the opportunities in the work. So I do feel that her hunger is this King of Pentacles reverse is reversed because she feels like she can't fulfill her ambitions because SM is not doing their job. Anyway, any further thoughts? Actually, let's clarify the pain. What is all this pain about? So we have the Moon, and we have Nine of Pentacles. So you see the Nine of Pentacles? Seulgi wants music. And the reason. So Nine of Pentacles also talks about someone that has a stable job, a stable income, someone that can take care of themselves financially, someone that has a comfortable space, a comfortable home, someone that has built their paradise per se. So that means that they have worked hard to be in a position, in a place where they feel happy and fulfilled for themselves. Now this Nine of Pentacles shows a piano, this person playing the piano, and being next to the Moon, it makes me think that the reason why Seulgi feels pain is that everything is left in the unknown. A lot of things are up in the air. Nothing's concrete. Nothing's clear. So the thing that may frustrate Seulgi the most about SM is that SM is not, instead of being like, oh, there's no work, there's no opportunities, there's just no communication. Nothing is clear. It's like, we will see, we never know. Everything is just left up in the air. Nothing's clear. The energy is muddy. The communication is muddy. Like, that's something that really frustrates Seulgi. Is like, I understand that there's a lot of people here. There's a lot of, like, everyone's playing the telephone phone. Like, I was told this, I was told that. No one seems to know anything. No one seems to be on the same page. And that really frustrates Seulgi. That really angers her. Because the moon talks about mystery, it talks about the unknown, and it talks about illusions or confusing energy. So another thing that really brings a lot of pain to Seulgi, as someone that wants to do music and someone that wants to continue with that, it really angers her or frustrates her when there's false promises. So if the company is like, oh, we offer you this, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, and then they don't follow through, it really angers her and it really pains her. It's like betrayal for her. It's like, okay, I want to do all of these things, and you're a music company, so I know you can make it happen. I know you've done it before, so what are you waiting for? Or instead of lying to me, telling me, oh, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, and then not go through with it, just don't tell me about it. Or it angers her more when she hears from one side someone say one thing, and then and from another side someone says something else, and it's like, so what's the truth? So what's actually happening? What's actually going on? So it really it's really frustrating for her. And it brings her a lot of pain to not have things clear. I mean, I understand it could be frustrating. So let's see. What are Seulgi's thoughts on SM? We have the Knight of Swords. So the Knight of Swords is the fastest moving knight in all of tarot, and it's Gemini energy as well. This tells me that Seulgi's thoughts on SM is that SM can really get things moving quickly when they want to. So if that's the case, that could explain why she gets even more annoyed when SM doesn't do anything. Because she's like, she knows that SM has the skills, the resources, the people to do stuff, but they don't do it. Because not everyone's on the same page. Because the focus is, like, they're not organized, or the focus is all over the place. Because one of the dangers about the Knight of Swords is someone that moves so quickly that they can be reckless, or someone that takes action without thinking. But if we combine this to Gemini energy, it makes me think of someone that has so many ideas and wants to do so many things at once that their energy it gets messy. And because of that, nothing gets done. Because the energy is spread out thin. So that makes me think that Seulgi's thought on SM is that they have the ability to get things done quickly, but since SM wants to do a bunch of things at once, they get nothing done at all, or they waste their resources tirelessly. You know what it makes me think of? Those times that, as an outsider looking in, it's baffling to me when SM takes out like all of their groups like within a week sometimes. It's like, you have the whole year and you have all of these groups, so why are you taking all of your groups and making them compete against each other like in a month? Like, it's summer and SM is like alive, like this person's having a comeback, this other person's having a comeback, and it's like, you do realize that there's like another 11 months in the year, so what's going on here? I don't know. SM, I'm not an SM. I don't know what they're thinking. But yeah, with the Knight of Swords, it makes me think that, similar to what we saw with Irene, Seulgi feels like if she wants to get anything done with SM, she needs to bring in the ideas and bring in the work. The work, not necessarily that she's doing all of the work, but it's like, anything that is within her power, if she gets it done, it may make it easier for SM to do their part, so like the project becomes a reality, right? So that makes me think, for example, for Seulgi's channel, if she was the one that kind of brought in all of these ideas of like, I could do this, I could do that, and I could work with these people, then SM was like, oh, seems good enough to me, here's the money, here's the resources. You know what I mean? It's like, Seulgi feels like if she wants to get anything done in SM, she needs to have to do as much as she can within her power, so that she can bring like a very concrete, straightforward product to SM, and it's like, this is what I need, give it to me. That kind of vibe. Now let's see, one last card. Wait. Well, it was only 3 cards. Sure. I thought it was like a chunk of cards, and I was like, no way. But it's only 3 cards. So what else do you think about SM? So the cards that we have here, we have the High Priestess reverse, the Hierophant reverse, and the Lovers upright. Woof. Those are 3 big cards. So that's 3 major arcanas that just came out together. So the High Priestess reverse. So let's talk about the signs that we have here. The High Priestess, we have the Moon. With the Hierophant, we have Taurus energy. And with the Lovers, we have Gemini energy. And the numbers that we have here is 2, 5, and 6. So this makes me think of growth and movement. And Seulgi's thoughts on SM is, with the High Priestess reverse, it feels like nothing is clear, nothing's concrete. There, like, whatever potential she sees in the company, she tries to keep those expectations low. She tries to keep those expectations as realistic as possible, so like that she doesn't face disappointment, and so like that she doesn't rely too much on the company. So there's this thing of like, yes, SM could be a very big company, but they don't work the way that Seulgi wishes they could work, so she tries to keep her expectations low. It's like, if you see the Hierophant reverse, it makes me think of a failing institution, or it makes me think of a community that doesn't have a good leader. So I do feel that in SM, Seulgi feels like whoever is managing things is not doing a good job at being a leader, and because of that, nothing gets done. Because I do feel that it's like if you have a bunch of people working together as a community, but you don't have anyone leading. And because of that, I do feel that Seulgi feels that one of the reasons why SM is not working is like, even if there is a CEO, they're not leading. So even if someone has a position as a leader, they're not actually a leader, so things don't get done. You don't have someone that knows how to move people. You don't have someone that is able to keep everyone on the same page, and because of that, they're not a good leader. So even if someone is like assigned to be the leader or assigned as the head of a company, that doesn't mean, just because they have the title does not mean that they have the skills. So I do feel like Seulgi's thoughts on SM is that that's what they have. They have a community with no leader. They have a body with no head. So there's no one competent enough to lead. There's no one that knows how to manage things. Or if they do, they're not doing it in a way that gets things done. So they're not effective. In other words, they're not a good leader. So I don't know who's the CEO right now in SM. I don't know who has the power right now. But whoever it is, Seulgi feels that this person is not competent enough to get the job done. And because of that, she's trying to keep her expectations low. The High Priestess reverse tells me that Seulgi is trying to minimize the unexpected or unmeasurable variables in the company or in her life. And because of that, she's trying to keep her expectations low to avoid disappointments, but also to not get her expectations in an unrealistic place. And it's like, she's trying to measure things, in a way where she's minimizing surprises and minimizing factors outside of her control. So she's trying to work within her power, within her circles, and whatever she can manage. Now, with the Lovers, this makes me think of communication, opportunities, and it could also talk about romance. Also, I'm thinking of soulmates. So I do feel that in SM, the only reason why Seulgi is there, or the only reason why she feels happy there, is because she is comfortable working with the people that she likes there. So whoever she gets along with within SM, they're valuable enough for her, or important enough for her, that she wants to stay there, or that she's okay staying there. However, I do feel that she's already looking for opportunities, or she's already looking at people, sources, paths, potentials that are more in alignment with what she wants to do or what she desires. So if there does come a time that an opportunity or an offer is given to her that is way better than what she has in SM, with no doubt, Seulgi will take it. So I do feel that it could be a matter of time. But yeah, I do feel that Seulgi is right now staying with people that she feels matter, or that she feels that are worth staying with. But if it was for her, SM is not doing their job. And that is very frustrating and annoying for her. She's trying to keep her expectations low, work within her control. But if there ever comes a time that she finds someone or a group of people of like-minded people, she will just go to them and work with them. With no hesitation, she'll leave SM behind for sure. But I do feel that at the moment, Seulgi is just staying with SM because it's the best option realistically right now. I don't think anyone has offered anything to her that she feels is worth leaving SM for. So yeah. Now let's go on to the next person, which will be Wendy. Let's figure out what are Wendy's thoughts of SM. Seems like she has a lot to say. We have intuition, anger, and strength. Clearly, Wendy is not satisfied with SM right now. With the intuition, it makes me think that Wendy feels like there's something better and greater out there for her. There is a sense that maybe intuitively she knows the limitations or the shortcomings that SM has. Maybe she may have had dreams, or she just has a very good intuition, so she knows how things are going to work out, or she knows things that are going to happen before they happen. So maybe she has an idea when things are going to work out or when things are not going to work out. Or maybe intuitively she can pick that there's something better and greater out there for her outside of SM. Now, the reason why I think it's outside of SM is because the anger card right here in the middle. I do feel that she has experienced a lot of disappointment and a lot of anger within SM. Either things don't work out, because I see this line right here that makes me think of like divided ideas, or it makes me think of people that are in different paths and separate paths. It makes me think of people that don't say things eye to eye, or people that are constantly just in, like, they're not in agreement on something. So this intuition card also makes me think of, I'm thinking of a solar system for some reason. Or you know what I'm thinking here is like a solar system that has two suns. And that also makes me think of like that saying, because I was born the year of the dragon, so I remember reading once there can't be two dragons in the same sky or something like that. So all of those things are coming through in a way of basically saying that there can't be two leaders leading, because that just talks about disagreements and fights. So I think Wendy's thoughts on SM is that there is a power struggle that is getting in the way of getting anything done. But also it makes me think that there is powerful people that are constantly arguing and fighting with each other. So instead of negotiating and working together, or just having someone being a leader and getting things done, there's just a power struggle constantly, and that's something that really angers her and something that really bothers her. But that is also something that's bringing her a lot of strength, because I do feel that this strength that she's finding is being her own support, or being her biggest pillar, her biggest strength. Or she's finding people that she can actually rely on, because during this moments of stress, conflict, and challenges and difficulties, so when there's fights and arguments, she's finding out who is a good support, who can stand on their own, and who gets affected or doesn't get affected by the issues within SM. So this makes me think, with this strength card, that she's finding out people that she can rely on. She's also finding out her own strengths as an individual, and she's also figuring out who she can rely on, as well as figuring out who's actually in power. So when you know what this makes me think? This is kind of bleeding on, or like is continuing something Seulgi's reading was talking about, that just because someone has a title of leader or the CEO or like being the head of something does not mean that they're actually leading, and does not mean that they actually have the skills to lead a group of people. So this also makes me think that for Wendy, she's able to notice who is actually in power and who is just a puppet, or who is just by name leading. And there seems to constantly be a fight between someone that has a title of leader and someone that actually has the power of a leader. Does not mean that either one knows how to lead. However, with all of that, one thing that I'm getting is that when there's conflict and fights and arguments, or when things are crumbling down within SM, Wendy is very intuitive, and she can pick up who is an actual pillar within SM. So you know what this means? This makes me think of people that are not valued or given credit for their hard work. Or this makes me think of like, sometimes you can have these higher ups fighting, but they don't realize that the foundation of the company is the people that are not necessarily in power. So this makes me think of like on one hand, you may have the people that are titled as leaders, but it makes me think of like if you were to get rid of them, the company can still function without them. So sometimes this makes me think that Wendy's ideas or thoughts on SM is that during all these fights and these arguments, she has figured out who's disposable. Let me put it that way. I'm not saying that she has the power to get rid of these people as much as I'm saying that she has figured out who are the true pillars or the true foundation that makes SM SM. In a way that functions for her. So what I mean by this is like, for example, she's a musician, she wants to create music. Then she knows who are the people to look out for, who are the people to work with that will create good music. And believe me, the CEO is not the answer, unless they're a musician. Then maybe they have some knowledge, maybe they know what they're doing. But this makes me think that Wendy has either very good intuition or she just has a very good eye. That during all of these fights and all of these issues or conflicts that SM has been in, she has been able to figure out who are the people that actually make SM SM. She has figured out maybe someone in the creative team, maybe one of the producers, maybe one of the composers. Like, she has figured out who are the people that gave the flavor or the foundation for SM to be the company that it is. So this makes me think also of like, if you could have this powerful people, so maybe even investors and stuff, find each other in the business aspect, but Wendy has figured out from the creative aspect who are the real powerful people. So again, just think about it from a musician's point of view. It's like, I just want to create music and I want to get this project done. But these people that are fighting for the business aspect of it. I can continue doing what I want from the music aspect if I join forces with people that do know how to do their things from the music aspect. That's kind of the best way I can describe Wendy's thoughts on SM. It's like she has figured out who she should really rely on based on what it is that she wants to do, whatever it is that she wants to do for herself. So if it's related to music, she knows who to work with. If it's related to any other like project within the entertainment industry, then she knows who to work with for that as well. Who can like lead her to an opportunity or someone that she can contact for a job opportunity or for a project. She has an idea, or she knows who will be a good guide or a good person to rely on for those things. But let's look at the tarot to see what are Wendy's thoughts on SM. We have the King of Swords. This King of Swords makes me think that this is actually Wendy's ideas. She has a very cool head, a very clear mind. This owl tells me that she is using her intuition to guide herself on who to trust and who not to trust, who to rely on and who not to rely on. This King of Swords makes me think of someone that has good judgment, someone that has matured enough to think for themselves and to have a clear mind that allows them to see the truth and the reality of their situation. Someone that also is very diplomatic and is able to speak their mind, but also is able to communicate and negotiate with other people. The King of Swords is Libra energy, so this also tells me that Wendy has figured out how to, in the most charming way possible, get herself out of conflict, stay neutral in problems, but also speak up whenever there's an injustice or whenever she's dissatisfied about something. So she has learned how to speak up for herself. I do feel that she has shown her dissatisfaction with SM. However, she has not done it in a way that will make her a target within the company. And the best way I can describe this is that even though she has, like for example in fan calls and stuff, if people have said stuff, she has kind of shown like, things can get better, but she hasn't said anything that will get her in trouble or that will put her in a bad position or in a bad light within the company. So in other words, she has maintained a very neutral stance within the company in such a way that she has given herself enough wiggle room to work with people in a professional way, but also it's, you know, express her dissatisfaction in a way that people can be like, okay, so maybe things are not doing that great within the company. So this makes me think of that Libra energy that is able to play devil's advocate, or someone that is able to stay neutral because they haven't shown their stance clear. They haven't shown all their cards. I think Wendy has played things very smart, or at least the cards are showing that even though she's not happy with the company at all, she hasn't put herself in a difficult position yet. I say yet because, I mean, we don't know what's going to happen in the future. But yeah, let's see. What are Wendy's thoughts on SM? A lot of cards fell through, so let me put them back. One thing at a time. What are Wendy's thoughts on SM? Wait. So a card that just jumped out is the Eight of Wands with the King of Pentacles reverse. Yeah, so this is also very similar to Seulgi. I mean, it makes sense. They're like 11 days apart, I think. The Eight of Wands tells me that Wendy wants things to happen quickly. She just wants to get things done. She wants to focus her energy all in one thing and just see it through. The Eight of Wands talks about movement. It talks about things happening very quickly. And it also talks about someone that is concentrating all of their energy on one goal so like that they can get it done. So seeing that card on top of the King of Pentacles reverse tells me that Wendy knows what she wants and she knows how she wants to go about it. But the issue is that her job is not in the right place or in the right mentality. So Seulgi got the King of Pentacles reverse, and that one was showing how Seulgi was feeling this hunger of wanting to do more in her career and in her work, but since SM is such a mess, she's not getting the opportunities to be at the top of her field. So going with that meaning, Wendy is in a similar position. Like, she wants to work, she wants to get things done, she wants to take action, but because of how SM is, she is not able to reach her full potential, and she's aware of it. It's very common in companies to have idols or people that get offered a bunch of opportunities, a bunch of projects, but SM rejects them before the idol in question even hears about it. So I do feel that Wendy is aware that maybe she has gotten a lot of offers and a lot of opportunities, but the company is so busy fighting each other or fighting itself and destroying itself, going in self-destruction, that she never gets to hear about these opportunities. And that could be frustrating for her, especially because she wants to get things done and she wants to get moving. She has the energy, the inspiration, and the motivation. What's failing her is her company. So yeah, the King of Pentacles reverse tells me that she is aware that there's potentials out there for her to be in the place that she wants to be and that she aims to be, but there's something getting in the way. And I do feel that something could be the company. It could be the whole company, as much as it could just be that the higher ups are fighting each other, so they're taking away all the resources and the energy and the people that distract them, or it becomes a distraction to the potential opportunity that Wendy could be getting and could be focusing on. Let's see. What are Wendy's thoughts on SM? We have the Emperor. Can you give me more information about this Emperor? We have the Knight of Pentacles reverse. So the Emperor is Aries energy, and seeing it underneath the Intuition card made me think that Wendy is in a very good position. She's stable. She is ready to take action. She is in a position where she's just analyzing the situation before doing anything. She can be at the moment, she's not actively taking action, but she's ready to take a proactive approach to achieve her goals. But she's in a stable place right now. So intuitively, it feels like she is in a good place, especially with the Knight of Pentacles. It feels like she's ready to take action when it's necessary. She is willing to proactively go after her dreams and her goals. But I do feel that this Knight of Pentacles clarifying the Emperor shows that the only reason why she's not taking action is that things are not organized enough for it. So it makes me think that she's one person and she's just a cogwheel in this whole mechanism or this whole project, that even if she's moving or she's ready to move, if only one piece is out of place, things don't get done. So things are not organized, basically, in the company. And that's the thing that frustrates her and angers her. It's like, from one part, she wants to get things done and she wants to get things moving, but if everyone is not in the right place in the right time, or they're not on the right page, so if the company's not organized, nothing gets done. All you need is one person to mess up, and the whole company or like the project just falls through. So this Knight of Pentacles reverse tells me, because the Knight of Pentacles is Virgo energy, and the Knight of Pentacles usually talks about someone that is the slowest moving knight. So it's kind of like Wendy sees SM as like things gets done very, very slowly, snail pace. But if one person is distracted or in an argument or in a fight, things go from slow to it reaches an actual stop and things don't get done. And I do feel that can be very frustrating for Wendy. She's always ready to join a project to get her job done. She's always ready to go on whatever schedules there are for her, but all there needs to be is only one obstacle, and then things just kind of stop moving. All of a sudden, nothing works, nothing gets done, and I think that's very frustrating for her, and it really angers her. Right, like she's the one that has to kind of like put up the face of, as the idol that is getting to work, but behind the scenes, there's a lot of things outside of her control that if they don't work together and complement each other, then it becomes a very big issue for her. So, for example, this makes me think of like behind the scenes, if staff don't get it together, then Wendy ends up in a project having to apologize or having to, she gives the face to her fans, being like, if things don't work out or if there's some you wanted to see us here and there, well, it's not really within her power to decide where she gets to work and where she doesn't get to work, right? She's still part of a community. Well, she's still part of a company that has a lot of power. She is just an employee of SM. Yeah, she may be under the spotlight, but she's not any different than another employee in SM. So what I mean is like there's higher ups that get to have a bigger say on what gets done and what doesn't get done. So when things don't get organized or not organized in SM, things come to a full stop in the production work. Now, any last thoughts that Wendy may have on SM? We have the Page of Pentacles, the Seven of Cups, and the Ace of Wands. Her last thoughts on SM is there are a lot of... This makes me think a bit of like what we saw with Irene. There's a lot of opportunities, a lot of paths, and a lot of options that she can take that can have a promising, long-lasting impact or a project that is very promising to actually take off with the Page of Pentacles. And the Ace of Wands, it tells me that there's action that can be taken. However, seeing how these cards are underneath the Strength card, tells me that Wendy has seen the potential of people that she can work with, that she can have projects with, but not necessarily have long-term contracts with or relationships with in the business aspect. It's like if there's a person that Wendy sees a potential of people she could work with, but since she's still under SM, she can't really have have these people be part of her team as much as it's like just have constant projects with them that are very promising and that she can see through till the very end. So this Ace of Wands talks about a beginning, and pages also talk about the beginning of something. The Page of Pentacles usually talks about an idea that is very promising, an idea that has a long-lasting effect, and something that can definitely materialize into reality, or like physically become a reality. The Seven of Cups talks about having very varied options, many opportunities, many paths, and many options. So combining all of this under the Strength card, where we talked earlier that Wendy has a very good eye of figuring out who can stand on their own or who is the actual foundation of SM. This makes me think that Wendy's idea of SM is that SM has very good resources and very good people that she can benefit from and work with them. But it's more of like on a one-on-one basis, or it's more of like just having projects and collaborations with these people. So this makes me think of other artists. It makes me think of, you know how Wendy sang, like, was it an SM station? That she sang with someone and someone was also playing the piano. I forgot the name of the song, but that makes me think of like Wendy has, because of being under SM, Wendy has the opportunity to work with these artists that are connected to SM, or within SM, or that she has met because she was in SM, right? So I do feel that Wendy has been able to follow her dreams or her goals, but not directly because of SM, because right now there's so many issues and conflicts within the higher ups that it does put a stop to a lot of the projects that she could have. But she has found a lot of potential opportunities from individuals within SM. And I do feel that this is like the positive outlet here is like Wendy may be very dissatisfied with the company, but she's very dissatisfied with the business aspect of the company, not necessarily from the creative aspect or maybe even from the individuals that she's working with. Especially because she feels that she could definitely collaborate with these people that are like the driving force or are the, as I mentioned earlier, the pillars of SM. And the Ace of Wands tells me that there's a lot of opportunities that she can start with. She's super motivated and super inspired to work with these people. So I do feel that Wendy may start being a bit more selfish and prioritize her own goals and her own ideas and start collaborating for people that she wants to collaborate with or that will benefit her for her individual stuff. By stuff I mean her career, her individual goals. So if there's someone that she really wants to work with, she's going to go for it because she's motivated, she's inspired, she's ready. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think she has a very good outlook on SM. But Wendy's someone that's usually very positive, so she's focusing on like the things and the resources and the people that she can work with that will get her closer to what she wants to do in her life and what she wants to do for her career. So that is it for Wendy. Let's go on to the next person, which is Joy. Now, out of all the Red Velvet members, I think Joy has been the one that has definitely been super vocal about her dissatisfaction with SM. So let's see what the cards have to say about Joy's thoughts on SM. So what are Joy's thoughts on the company? The first card that came out is Illumination. That seems very oddly positive. And we have Success and Termination. Okay, well, the previous three members that we read for seem a lot more critical about the company than Joy. You know what this makes me think? Joy still has hope on SM, and that's why she's finding a lot of disappointment. Anyway, so with Illumination, Success, and Determination, there's a sun on all three of these cards. This tells me that Joy's thoughts on SM is that SM is a place where she can strive for or is at the top of the top. I think because of that, she puts a lot of effort in making sure that things work out with SM. I'm not saying necessarily that she's going to like cave in and allow SM to do as they want and do as they wish, as much as I'm saying that she will put a lot of, a lot of determination and be super persistent to make sure that things succeed within SM. So this makes me think that whatever it is that Joy wants to do, or whatever it is that she wants to get from SM, she will work very hard to achieve those and accomplish those goals. The determination card right here makes me think that it doesn't matter what challenges she encounters, the obstacles or the resistance that she may encounter with SM, she will put a lot of hard work to make sure that she can overcome all of that. And she's able to achieve whatever goal she has or see through whichever project it is that she wants. So this makes me think that out of all of them, Joy could be one of the people that pushes very hard to get schedules or pushes very hard for whatever individual project she wants to do. So you know when Joy did her cover album, or like the album that she had with a bunch of cover songs, that is something that she had to push very hard to accomplish and to see through with the company. And the only reason why this happens is that Joy just works very, very hard to make those projects see the light of day. So this determination card tells me that Joy just either has very big expectations of SM, or she feels that for being a very big company, this is the best that she can do. And because of that, she wants to, at least from her part, work as hard as possible so things work out. Especially for her benefit with this success card. The illumination card tells me that Joy still has hope and is still optimistic that things are going to work out with SM. Now, the reason why I'm saying it this way is that at least for the previous two people, they did show a lot of dissatisfaction with the company. With Irene, at least the Oracle showed that she saw SM as a good potential, but at least she was also aware that she was not happy with SM. However, this card seems so positive that it's baffling to me that we got such positive cards when Joy has been the most vocal about her dissatisfaction with the company. But seeing also that apparently she was the one that was fighting and even did like a whole PowerPoint of sorts to SM showing, hey, this concepts match more with the group, makes me think that Joy has hope that the company is a good place to work with or something like that. And because of that, I think that's why we have such positive cards right here. Success and illumination makes me think that she has a lot of hope and a lot of this positive outlook into the company. This illumination card makes me think of also having hope or thinking about the future, that things will get better. And we technically have two orange cards, so that makes me think of someone that is very energetic, very passionate, and has a pretty positive outlook with a yellow card here. So again, this sun makes me think of very big potential, being extremely positive, or having like awareness of something. It makes me also think of someone that is like at the top of the top, or someone that has very big potential. Someone that has a big reach of power as well, were the words that came up. So in a way, I think Joy sees SM as a very good opportunity and someone that has a lot of power to get a lot of things done. So again, this is a very positive outlook, the most positive we have seen for all the members I've read for so far. But let's go to the tarot and see what are Joy's thoughts on SM. I'm completely taken aback. But yeah, let's see. So Joy's thoughts on SM, what are they? So the first card that came out is the Nine of Cups reverse. Yeah, that seems more like it. So the Nine of Cups usually talks about emotional satisfaction, dreams come true, and it talks about a wish fulfillment. With it being reserved. With it being reversed, it shows that Joy doesn't feel like SM can accomplish her dreams, or she doesn't feel satisfied with SM. Whatever goals or ideas or wishes she had that she wanted to accomplish, that maybe she hoped being under SM will make them true, she has started to notice or has realized that that's not the reality. Either SM does have the resources and the ability to make her dreams come true, but it hasn't happened yet. Or she feels that at some point SM has not been able to fulfill her dreams and wishes anymore, and because of that she doesn't feel emotionally satisfied to continue under SM. Now, I don't know. We will need more cards to have a better idea of what Joy feels. Look, this video is not about who has signed with SM and hasn't signed with SM, but I am still a bit confused with how Joy feels about the company. Maybe she is also having mixed feelings with the company. On one side, she has hope that things will get better, but then with the tarot, we're seeing that she is not satisfied with the company. Emotionally, she feels that the company has not been able to fulfill her personal goals or has not been able to fulfill her dreams and desires. And I don't really know what she's going to do about that, but at least from the oracle aspect, it feels like she will work hard to at least find a way to work with the company. That doesn't show, or at least it doesn't really tell me if she is going to re-sign with a company, as much as she's just kind of like maybe having mixed feelings about the company. Let's take a more tarot and see what are Joy's thoughts on SM. Maybe we'll get more clarity with that. Yeah, you see, it seems like the mixed feelings that Joy has with the company is that because the Ten of Pentacles talks about someone that has reached like not, well, highest potential were the words that came up, but it makes me think of someone that has it all, has a good legacy, someone that has generational wealth in the sense of they're able to provide for themselves, their family, and future generations. It could talk about someone that has a decent or a good career. This makes me think that Joy's ideas of SM is that SM has a very big potential to give her everything that she wants. However, with the Nine of Cups reversed, she's not satisfied with the company. So I think this is where the mixed feelings comes in. Again, Joy has a lot of hope that she can be successful in SM and that she can get what she wants. With the Ten of Pentacles shows that she has been able to create a stable income for herself and her family, so she's grateful for that. But she's a very ambitious person as well, or at least she wants more out of SM, and SM hasn't been able to fulfill those needs that she has. And I think that could be a bit frustrating for her. And that could also be the reason why she has these mixed feelings, where like on one part she has been able to create a very, maybe a stable income that has been able to provide for herself and her family, but at least from the emotional aspect, so from the practical financial aspect, things are okay, they're good, those things have been fulfilled, those goals are okay. But then when it comes from the emotional aspect of things, SM has not been able to fulfill that side of her. So her wishes, her dreams, her desires, those have not been met. And maybe she doesn't have the emotional stability that she wishes she could have within her career and within her company. And that could be a bit frustrating for her. It's like on the 3D side, everything's okay, but then on the emotional or the things that cannot be seen and touched or things that are intangible, that's when things are not okay. Things are not met. Like the standards are not met. And I think that's where the mixed feelings comes in for Joy. It's like she wants to make things work out because they have been working out for the main part of things, but then she doesn't feel comfortable, or she feels like there's a lot more of her needs could be met, and SM is just not powering through or not going through with those things that she wants. But let's see, what else? What are Joy's thoughts on SM? Yeah, we have the Emperor in the exact same position as Wendy's Emperor here. What is this Emperor about? For Joy, what is this Emperor about? Sure, I'll take those cards too. We have the Nine of Wands reverse. We have Judgment, the Two of Pentacles, and Death reverse. So Judgment, Two of Pentacles, and Death reverse all came out together. And they came out when I took out this Nine of Wands. So like I took out this card and then this other three kind of jumped out with it. So this Emperor tells me that Joy is in a stable position for herself. Now this stable position is one that allows her to take action. It allows her to seek out opportunities, and it allows her to start craving for change or start craving for something new. The Emperor is Aries energy, so she's a person that wants to take action. She's someone that wants to get things done. She feels the most successful or the most productive or useful when she's actively pursuing her goals or actively going after something that she desires and wants. However, with this Nine of Wands being next to the Emperor, it tells me that she finds it very difficult. So if she finds it very difficult to forgive when things don't work out the way that she wants it, or when her expectations are not met. So if she feels any sort of disappointment within SM, it becomes very frustrating for her and very difficult for her to forgive those mishaps or to forgive those unmet expectations. And because of that, I do feel that there could have been some built up anger or built up hurt. The Nine of Wands talks about someone that is very cautious, or someone that is very guarded or very defensive because of past pains and past challenges or difficulties that someone encounters. However, with the Nine of Wands reverse, it tells me that maybe Joy has been working very hard to leave the past in the past and has worked very hard to forget or to not dwell too much on things that didn't work out in the past. And because of that, she's able to stay stable enough to be ready to take action and stable enough to take on opportunities. However, that doesn't mean that she has forgotten things, disappointments, sadness, and anger that she may have felt with the company. So I do feel that this is where the mixed feelings come in. On one part, she sees the potential that the company has, and because of that, she wants to work with them and kind of come to like this midpoint of negotiations, and she wants to take action. However, I do feel that she cannot forgive the shortcomings that SM has had, and because of that, that's where the conflicting mixed energies kind of come in for Joy. Now with the Judgment card, this is Pluto energy, and with Death it's Scorpio energy. And I'm pointing that out because the ruler of Scorpio is Pluto in Western astrology. Now, the thing that I want to mention with Judgment is that Joy is very critical and harsh on SM. And because of that, I think that's why she is very vocal about her disappointments with SM, and she's very vocal about the things that she's dissatisfied with the company, or when the company is not doing as they promise or as she expects them to. And I think because of that, we have heard a lot of, or we have seen a lot of the times when Joy tells fans like, oh, the company's not, I heard this and I heard that, and the company's not really meeting my expectations here and there. So I think Joy is just very vocal about that kind of thing. So this Judgment card makes me think that Joy is very, very critical of the company. She has very high expectations for them, and she will speak up when she feels it's necessary. Also, the Judgment card does talk about a rebirth of sorts. It talks about someone that is being brought back from the dead, because usually it shows like an angel that is waking up people from their coffin. So it's like some sort of rebirth, but it also talks about it like a wake-up call. So this makes me think that one of the biggest issues, or one of the biggest things that Joy does with SM, or one of her biggest thoughts, is that she feels like she could wake up SM to get it together. And I do feel that's one of her biggest mistakes. I do feel that she's wasting energy on waking up a company to do things right, because she should just be looking out for herself. I don't think changing the company will do her any better. But I do feel that she's very highly critical. This could be the Virgo part of her. So she's a sun in Virgo, and Virgos are highly, highly critical. And one of the biggest demises, or one of the biggest issues a Virgo can encounter, is trying to make sure everyone does things like them or works like them. Not everyone is a workaholic. Not everyone is very effective with their work, and not everyone is good at planning and organizing like Virgo energy tends to be. Now, I said tends to be because the energy itself is like that. Doesn't mean that every Virgo has the ability to express the energy that is common for Virgo. Other placements will influence the way that Virgo acts. And by that I mean is like where they concentrate that energy, where they prioritize it, and where that energy will manifest itself. With Joy, we do have a typical Virgo that is a workaholic. So I do feel that she may be extremely highly critical about the ways and methods that SM does what they do. But at the same time, I do feel that Joy has this... Like, she believes that if she puts a lot of effort, she will be able to convince SM to right their ways and get things together so that they can be an effective company. Or a bit more efficient in getting things done. So the Judgment card tells me that Joy feels that she has the power to change SM. I don't think she should bother with it, honestly. But it's up to her. Now, the Two of Pentacles talks about having a balance. It could be someone that is balancing two areas of their life, two ideas, or two paths even. The Two of Pentacles tells me that Joy's ideas of SM is that usually I see the Two of Pentacles as time management, but with Joy I'm getting the sense of someone that is trying to balance between fun and work. I guess Joy's thoughts on SM is that yes, SM is a place that she could work, but she really enjoys the job that she has. She really enjoys the people that she's working with, and she's trying to have a balance between prioritizing the business aspect of her work, but also balancing the social aspect of her work. So this makes me think that on one side she has emotional satisfaction with the people that she's working with, but then from the business aspect or like the management aspect of the company, that's usually where she's not really satisfied with and where she encounters a lot of conflict and issues with. So there's this sense of like she's trying to have a balance of working with these two sides of herself, you know, the side that is not satisfied and then the side that is satisfied, the side that has big expectations and the side that sees the reality of the situation she's in, and then the side that she is content with the social aspect of things but then very dissatisfied with the management of things. So I do feel that there's a lot of things that Joy is managing, a lot of things that she's trying to keep in balance, and there's a lot of things that she's juggling for her career as well. So maybe a lot of projects or a lot of ideas or opportunities that she wants to work on or chase for, and all of those things are keeping her very busy. So I do feel that on one part, one of her thoughts on SM is that they're very good at keeping her busy or maintaining her in a job, but I do feel that there's more that she wants, and that could be where the satisfaction kind of comes in. Now the last card that we have here is Death Reverse. So this makes me think of a resisting to change and transformation, and this tells me that one of Joy's thoughts on SM is that SM wants to innovate or wants to do new things, but the thing that they should be innovating and changing is their management. So this makes me think of like you have a company that has a very ambitious, innovative outlook on concepts and projects, but things don't work out because their methods and their management is still very old-fashioned. So this makes me think that this is Joy's thoughts is that SM is not able to take off or is not successful because they want to do things differently, but their process is the same, and because of that they get the same results. It makes me think of how they say insanity is someone that does the same thing over and over expecting different results, and I feel that Death Reverse shows someone that is resisting change and transformation. So Joy's thoughts on SM is that SM is not able to change or advance or improve because their mentality is stagnant, or they're thinking in past ways, or still doing things the old way. And even though there's nothing wrong with an effective process, it's like if it's not effective, then change it. And that's where SM kind of falls through or falls short because they're not changing things that do not work. And this makes me think about sometimes like investing a lot of money and time and resources on a project that constantly shows that there's no profit from it. And I do feel that SM has shown that, you know, if they're very stuck on like wanting something to take off, they kind of get so hung up on that they just waste the resources on it. So that's the part where it's like they're not innovating and improving, because sometimes they get very stagnant or stuck on a set of ways or on a specific project. And I do feel that Joy's thoughts on that is that SM will be more successful if they're a bit more flexible, or they will be more successful if they stay more organized. But this, if you look at all the cards that Joy has here, is that Joy is not necessarily fully dissatisfied with what SM has given her, but I do feel that she feels she has the power to change the company in order for them to be more successful. And she has been able to achieve some of her goals and dreams, at least from a practical aspect, because of how determined she has been on her own success. So this means that she has worked very hard for SM to give her the jobs, opportunities, and projects that she's on right now. And because of that, she's very grateful, but she's still a very ambitious person. And I do feel that there's a lot of emotional dissatisfaction here that SM has not been able to fulfill for her. And I think that's one of the biggest issues that Joy has. And also, SM has disappointed her in the past, and Joy tries to leave that in the past, but she has not been able to fully forget about that. So sometimes those feelings kind of come back, and that makes her be kind of like on the defensive and put her guard up when it comes to SM sometimes. But that's kind of what I have for Joy. Now let's go on to the very last person to end off this reading. To end off this reading, let's figure out what are Yeri's thoughts on SM. So, let's see. We have hunger, strength. What are Yeri's thoughts on SM? And anxiety. So, 3 out of the 4 members got hunger. And 2 people got strength. Or Pisces women in Red Velvet were the ones that got strength. Because the ones that got hunger were Wendy and Seulgi, and the ones that got strength... Oh, wait, no. What is it called? The people that got hunger were Seulgi and Irene, and the people that got strength were Wendy, and in this case, Yeri. So this makes me think that Yeri's thoughts on SM is that, of course, there's this lacking energy of like she wants a job, she wants work, she wants projects to come through, as we saw earlier for the 2 people that got this as well. There's like, she feels like SM could give her a lot more work and could give her a lot more opportunities. But this anxiety, it makes me think that Yeri feels a bit insecure in the sense of like, either Yeri likes to be busy, or she likes to be on stage, or she wants to be on projects and stuff, and SM is not really providing those opportunities for her. Maybe her schedule is a little bit too free and empty, and Yeri is like, so where is it? What's going on? What's up? And the strength card tells me that at least Yeri is doing well for herself. Like, at least as an individual, as a person, she's managing, she's finding support and strength for herself, she's prioritizing herself, and becoming like this. She has inner strength, let me put it that way. So she has stability, and she is comfortable and confident with herself, and because of that, she's in a decent enough standing. But at least her thoughts in SM makes me think that she's in a decent place within SM, that she can ask for things, or she feels like she's in a good place when it comes to her career. So that could be a stable income, that could be a respectable reputation, it could be like she is in a good standing within SM, so she doesn't have bad blood with the company per se. But there is a dissatisfaction here in the sense of like, she wants work, she wants projects, she wants activities, she wants a bit more in her schedule. And this anxiety tells me that she may feel like there's a lot of garbage in the company. But with anxiety, you know what, like, this looks like when you see little it makes me think of like, it maybe not DNA, but it makes me think of little worms, or it makes me think of cells. You know, like when you magnify cells and then you start seeing like little parts of it. That's what I'm getting. I don't know. But there's a sense of like when Yeri starts looking at the details about SM and either her thoughts on SM or when she thinks about the management within SM, maybe that's when she starts getting a little bit nervous because she realizes that things are not really working, or maybe she realizes that there's a lot of stress that she gets when she focuses on the company or thinks about the company. And again, one of the main things that could stress her is like there's that like the lack of something here. But let's actually just jump to her tarot and figure out what is this anxiety all about? That's what I'm the most curious about. We have the Magician, so things are not manifesting, perhaps? Let's see, what is this anxiety about? We have the Emperor. I don't know, these cards are actually very good. And one more card. We have the Page of Wands. You know what makes me... So the biggest reason why Yeri feels anxiety with the company is that there's a lot of potential here. So with the Magician, we have someone that is very good at manifesting, someone that is very good at creating opportunities and making their visions and their goals, hopes, and dreams a reality. The Magician talks about an active form of manifesting. It talks about someone that is proactive in making their dreams come true or making them a reality. The Magician talks about someone that has all the tools at their disposal to make their dreams a reality, basically. The Magician does talk about someone that's very good at manifesting. And the Magician is Mercury energy, so this also talks about someone that's very good at making their dreams or manifesting them very quickly. This tells me with the Magician, though, that Yeri sees SM, or her thoughts on SM, is that they're very good at making things happen. They're very good at finding the right resources or the right people to make things a reality. And that SM has all the potential to make anything happen. With the Emperor, here we have Aries energy. This shows that Yeri sees SM as someone that is like a sleeping giant, was the words that came up. But again, it's like the whole idea of like when SM sets their mind on making something real or making it a reality, they just make things happen. So the anxiety makes me think that one of the things that could frustrate Yeri a little bit is that there's very long periods of not having work or not having schedules, and then there's a very small window where everything gets bunched in and there's a bunch of work that has to get done. And I think that's something that really frustrates Yeri, or it can be a bit overwhelming for her, and she may not really like it when SM does this because it's a very big shift for her that could be a bit overwhelming for her. The Emperor again shows someone that is in a stable standing. So Yeri's thoughts on SM is that SM is well off enough, or like they're stable enough to get things done, stable enough to take action, and stable enough to be proactive to get their job done or get activities to come through. The Emperor also tells me that SM is constantly on the watch out, or is constantly looking to grab the best opportunities or the best projects. So in a way, Yeri sees SM as someone that has a potential to make anything happen. And I do feel that if anything, she just gets very frustrated when SM just packs up her schedule very tightly with a bunch of things that have to get done at once, but then also have very long periods when nothing gets done and there's nothing scheduled. So that shift, or like those drastic changes, is something that really frustrates her and is very annoying for her, or it really stresses her. Also, the Page of Wands, here we have someone playing the violin, so that makes me think of music, of course. Even here we have a person with the drums. But the thing that I was going to mention with the Page of Wands, so pages are the beginning of a new journey, the beginning of a chapter, and the Page of Wands talks about someone that is motivated, inspired, or someone that has that spark to take action. So this makes me think that she sees SM as someone that, well, not someone, but like, as she sees SM as a company that when they have an idea, they go through with it and they take action. But it may take a while for SM to have that spark to get things going. And when they do, it's very spontaneous and it comes out of nowhere. So I do feel that Yeri, like her nervousness or the stress that comes here with SM, is that they are very unpredictable and it's very unexpected. And even though it's expected for things to happen out of nowhere, it still surprises her and cuts her off guard, and that could be a bit stressful for her. But the Page of Wands makes me think that SM is a type of company that when they get an idea, they just go through with it when they think about it. So I don't think there's much of a heads up and there's not much planning before things are just happening. And again, that could be those drastic changes of nothing and then everything happening at once is just stressful for her. But let's see what else. We have the Queen of Pentacles reverse. I was let me put it right here actually. This Queen of Pentacles reverse tells me that Yeri prefers to focus on herself right now than to pay any mind or attention to SM. Because the Queen of Pentacles usually describes someone that is very generous, someone that loves to give to other people, someone that likes to provide for others, and it talks about someone that is in a very good standing on their health, on their career, and on their finances. However, with it being reversed, it usually talks about someone that should internalize all of that energy towards themselves and prioritize themselves. It talks about someone that should take care of themselves, nurture themselves, instead of giving to other people because of their overflowing abundance. Is like, let's internalize that energy and focus more on themselves to be abundant within themselves first before they're able to provide for anybody else. So this makes me think that with the Strength card, that Yeri is prioritizing herself right now. She's not really focusing too much on SM, and she's not very concerned or worried about them because there's either things that she wants to work on for herself, or she feels like there's no point or reason to stress about what SM is doing and going through because there's something that she's working on for herself. So why is this Queen of Pentacles reversed? We have the Sun reversed. So it doesn't seem to be anything negative. So the reason why Yeri's prioritizing herself, because that's just what she does. So the Sun reverse again is very positive. Even if it's reversed, it does talk that she may be doing some inner child healing. She is just focusing on staying positive. She's focusing on doing what she likes, what she loves, and what motivates her. She's trying to stay optimistic, so she's just growing by prioritizing herself and improving her person. So she's just focusing on doing her own thing because that's just what she wants to do right now. So it feels like she's just nurturing herself and focusing on her self-development and her self-growth. And she's just not really focusing on SM. I do feel that she thinks SM has a potential to do a lot of good things and to just create and manifest anything, but she's not really bothering with a company right now. She's just working on herself because that's what she desires and that's what she's just focusing on at the moment. So it seems like Jenny doesn't really have any like bad blood with the company. I don't think she's fully satisfied with the hunger and anxiety, but I do feel that she's just trying to focus on herself because that's what she's prioritizing. So that is not necessarily coming from a bad place as much as that's just what's happening at the moment. The other thing that I was going to mention with the hunger and anxiety is that one of the other things that could really stress Yeri out is the fact that there's no work that she can look forward to. I don't know why that got highlighted again. Now, what are Yeri's final thoughts on SM? So the card that came, the cards that came facing up is the Ten of Swords, the Two of Swords, and the Knight of Wands. So the Two of Swords talks about a decision that has to be made, someone that is making a decision or is in between two opportunities, two ideas, two thoughts. And this makes me think with the Two of Swords that Yeri has her heart very closed off, so there could have been some emotional disappointments with SM as much as she's just too focused on her own life and on her own thing to worry about the company. But the Two of Swords makes me think that she could be dealing with some heartache or she could be dealing with some personal issues. And because of that, she doesn't really have the headspace to think about the company or to prioritize it or bother with them. there is also this idea that maybe there is another opportunity or another potential out there that she has been entertaining. So maybe making, having a contract with somebody else, or maybe working with another company. They're like, there's a potential here for that, since that's kind of what I'm focusing on. Or there is a sense that Yeri is thinking, like, I could focus on the company or I could focus on myself. And right now she's prioritizing herself and on her self growth. But yeah, the Two of Swords here, you have like the swords crossing over the chest of this person, so that makes me think of someone that is very guarded. Usually, the advice for the Two of Swords is to use your intuition to make the best decision for yourself. So this just makes me think that Yeri's thoughts on SM is, if you want to survive in SM, just think of yourself and prioritize yourself. That's the best way to survive. Which we have kind of seen with some of the members. I think there were at least 3 of them have already mentioned that if you want to get anything done with SM, you need to push for projects to happen and for things to get done. So I do feel that here Yeri's thinking of the same thing. It's kind of like, if she wants to get anything done, then she can worry and think about the company. And if not, then she can just work on herself. Like, there's no pressure there. I mean, something along those lines. Now, the last card that we have right here is the Knight of Wands. Now, the Knight of Wands is Sagittarius energy. And Wands talks about movement. Okay, all the Knights talk about movement. But the Knight of Wands is still a very fast energy. This makes me think that Yeri's ideas of SM is that SM has a potential to grow, expand, especially because we have the Page of Wands and then we have the Knight of Wands, so that talks about some progress and growth. This makes me think also that Yeri sees the potential and has seen how SM can grow and get things done and improve and expand their ideas, expand their projects, expand their opportunities, expand their network and their resources. It makes me think that Yeri sees that SM has the potential for a lot of things, and again, being able to manifest and take action and create all of these opportunities, projects, and ideas. But I do feel that also Yeri doesn't really feel pressured to work with SM somehow, or she doesn't really feel too concerned with what SM is doing. Like, there is a chance that Yeri's working on herself and SM is not really on the same level or the same area of her self-development. So this makes me think that Yeri's working on herself and in her improvement, and her career is not an overlapping area to her growth as a person. You know how there's some people that, since let's say they're workaholics or something, so their career does have a big weight or a big impact on their person, like how they see themselves or how they value themselves. Well, for Yeri, that's not really the case. And I think because of that, even if she doesn't really have the best outlook on SM, and even if she also has a pretty good, like, how should I put it? She's not fully satisfied with the company, but she doesn't have a negative outlook on the company. This also shows that since she's prioritizing herself, and that doesn't really overlap with what SM is doing, there's not a lot of conflict or issue here. If anything, if Yeri wants to do something, she knows SM has the resources to provide some of whatever it is she wants to work on. But at the same time, she also knows that her job can be a bit stressful when it's unpredictable or it gets in the way of what she's doing. So this tells me with this Knight of Wands that Yeri's thoughts on SM is that they have the resources that she can use whenever she wants them or whenever she wants to push for them. She's not fully satisfied with the work that SM gives her because it's not really, it's lacking, it's not enough. And she does get a bit stressed with the overwhelming work that SM just randomly brings up on her. Because I do feel that sometimes that kind of, it interrupts or disrupts whatever flow or whatever focus Yeri was having on herself. So to summarize all of them, the person that has the most, at least from the Oracle, that had the most positive outlook out of all 5 members is actually Joy, which to me is very surprising because Joy has been the most vocal about how SM is being a mess, at least in my opinion. And then the other person that had a semi positive outlook was Irene, because she sees SM as very abundant and has all the resources that she can like take advantage for her career. Like, SM can bring in a lot of opportunities and projects. So that's the other person that has something positive to say. And then I guess Yeri is the other one that, at least from the tarot aspect, Yeri had positive things to say about SM. But then from the oracle part, that's when we saw a bit of stress and this like dissatisfaction or like this lacking energy. And then the other two people that were kind of like coping and were a bit more dissatisfied with SM were Seulgi and Wendy. They're the ones that, in my opinion, I feel that the one that was the most dissatisfied with SM is Wendy, with that anger and stuff. The only difference between Seulgi and Wendy with their dissatisfaction is that Seulgi is stressed with management, but she somehow makes work with it, at least by bringing as much of the resources as she can and the much of the planning so that projects go through. And then from Wendy's aspect, she is able to kind of cope with SM by focusing on the people or the resources that actually matter in making things happen. But I do feel when we talk about higher ups, Wendy's the one that is the most dissatisfied with that, because she's able to see intuitively how the business people are fighting each other. It disrupts the flow of the company, but at least Wendy's able to see like who she can work with to complete projects that she wants to work with and collaborate with who she wants to collaborate with. And then from Seulgi's point of view, she's able to also acknowledge that they may have a leader that is not a good leader, or just have a leader by name, not by practice. But and then the way that Seulgi manages is just by doing as much as she can from her part, and then just telling SM, I need this much budget and I need this much resources. Hand them over. That's kind of like the feel that I got from the cards here. Anyway, I hope you guys like this reading. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you guys on the next one, whenever that is, however that is. Now, based on what I said about what each member thinks about the company, based on the cards that we got, it is up to you if you want to think who will stay and who will not. I haven't really heard about anyone that has re-signed with SM. I do hope that however things work out and however they happen, everyone is just looking out for themselves and they are looking out for what is the most beneficial for them as individuals. And if individually they will be satisfied working together, then that will happen. And if that's the case, I hope we see more of Red Velvet. And if not, I hope everyone is able to discern what opportunities are the best for them. And I do hope that everyone makes decisions with a cool head, so like that they're able to find the best decisions for themselves and not be desperate to look for better options out there that could end up being fool's gold. And what I mean by fool's gold is that on the outside it looks perfect, it looks very pretty, but in the inside it's just trash. It's nothing of value and nothing worth fighting for or worth going for. So yeah, let's wish the best for Red Velvet. Let's wish the best for each member and whatever endeavor they want to go for. And continue supporting them if you wish to support them, and if not, it's good to part ways now. But yeah, let's hope that we have the best 10th anniversary the group has ever had, and let's just enjoy this comeback. So, I haven't heard the songs because I'm recording these like a day before things come out, but in the description I will probably make a comment of the music when I listen to it and stuff. So yeah, I'll see you guys on the next one, whenever that is, whoever that is. I hope that you learned from this, or at least found it entertaining. And thank you so much for all the love and support you have shown me and the channel. Love and healing from my part to you, and bye.